Now let's take a look at your bowl betting preview 2016-2017. We're going to take a look at some nuggets as well as some Vegas news and notes brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com. You want to go for your winning bowl picks? It's Joe Duffy's Picks at OffshoreInsiders.com, giving you bowl winners publicly since 1988 on the score phone. Plus, you got the Master Lock line, the power more than 620 sports services behind each and every play. Remember, it's at OffshoreInsiders.com. All right, folks, for those of you who do believe that high totals benefits the favorites, there is some validity in the bowls. Favorites of 3.5 or more with a total of 56.5 or more are 60 and 47 for 56.1%. Now, that actually applies quite a few times during the bowls. And, we'll tell you about some of the other angles that do apply to the very specific teams. But that applies quite a few times. And visit OffshoreInsiders.com for more details. Now, teams that covered 25% or fewer other games in the regular season are actually 17-9 against the spread in bowls. Now, it happens a lot more in recent years, obviously, because there are a lot more bowl teams, including teams that are disappointments, because obviously teams that only cover 25% of the time are generally disappointments during the regular season. But one of those theories, and we told you that bowls are really about counterintuitive handicapping more than anything. Teams that really need to make adjustments are the ones that benefit from the long rest, whereas the squares believe that you go with the team that's hotter entering the bowl season, and that's just simply not true. But again, teams that covered only 25% or less of their games during the regular season, 17-9 in the bowls, and it favors Southern Miss, Boise State, Baylor, and South Alabama, and TCU in the bowls in 2016-2017. Now, several teams enter the bowls ice cold. Teams that have dropped at least 4 or 5 straight up entering the bowls include Maryland, Central Michigan, Baylor, North Texas, and Wake Forest. Baylor, in fact, is only the second team in history to enter the bowls on at least a 6-game losing streak. The other one being Illinois in 2011, but Illinois actually won and covered that game. In fact, teams that enter on at least a 5-game losing streak have covered all 3 times, this rare occurrence, since 1992, winning by an average of 11.7 points. Western Michigan's only the third undefeated team to be an underdog of at least 7 points to a team with 2 or more losses. The previous 2, though, split, both straight up and against the spread. Minor bowl games that are least expected to be high-scoring generally are. December games with totals of 66.5 or higher have gone over at a 23-11 rate. That'll apply to Central Michigan, Tulsa, Memphis, Western Kentucky, Baylor, Boise State, Northwestern, and Pitt. Likewise, December bowls with totals of 50 or less go under at a 38-24 rate. Arkansas State, Central Florida, Ohio, Troy, Boston College, Maryland, Vanderbilt, NC State, Wake Forest, Temple, TCU, and Georgia. And again, you want the bowl winners at OffshoreInsiders.com. Now some news and notes for the Appalachian State-Toledo game. A stunning 94% of the totals bet so far are on the over. That is offshore and in Las Vegas. BYU, Wyoming. Wyoming is the second best over team in the country in terms of margin. They've gone over 9-4, but by an average of 13.7 points per game. Colorado State and Idaho. Colorado State is 10-2 against the spread. That mark is second in the nation when we're talking about mere wins and losses percentage in spread-wise. Eastern Michigan and Old Dominion. Old Dominion's gotten 77% of the spread bets on them, making them one of the strongest public bets of the bowls. Vanderbilt, NC State. One could argue that NC State is the most deceptive spread record in the nation. Though 8-4 in the back pocket, their Vegas margin is even. 4 times they covered by 4.5 or less, while the Vegas setbacks were by 9, 11.5, 22, and 23 points. Wake Forest and Temple. Temple with the best spread win-loss record, going 12-1, covering by an average of 7.7 points per game. That's the best spread team in the nation, based purely on record. Baylor and Boise State. Baylor has the worst spread numbers of any bowl team, going just 3-9 by an average margin of minus 8.7. Washington State, Minnesota. 75% of wagers offshore and in Vegas are on Washington State. Northwestern, Pitt. Pitt is the top over team in the nation, going over 11-1 by a whopping 20.6 points per game. Now, to put that in perspective, the number 2 over team is Wyoming, going over by an average of 13.7. Oklahoma State and Colorado. Colorado's 10-3 against the spread record is the best in the third best in the nation. Washington and Alabama. Washington is a deceptive spread record. Only 7-6 against the spread. Their spread margin is plus 8.0. Third best in the nation. Western Michigan and Wisconsin. Western Michigan went 9-4 to the number by an average cover of 8.4, which is second best in the country. USC and Penn State. Penn State's top spread team in the nation based on margin, as they went 9-3 by an average margin of 8.9. Auburn and Oklahoma, one of the strongest consensus sides and totals, are both on this game. 75% of the tickets written on Oklahoma, 88% on the over. Again, offshoreinsiders.com is the place to go every single day before placing a bet. www.offshoreinsiders.com.
Call 1-888-FARMERS to switch, and you could save an average of $470 on your auto insurance. That's a lot of money in just a few minutes. With savings like that, you could be lounging on an impractical amount of ornate and overpriced throw pillows you bought for your couch. But you won't, because you're better with money than that. That's why you're calling us in the first place. Call 1-888-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey data July to December 2020. Underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.